All right, everybody. Welcome to season two, or season eight, week two of the Chasing to Delta season. My name is Alex Patterson. I will be your commentator today. This is our first broadcast of the season. Super excited to be here. We are here at the brand new St. Petersburg track. This was released rather recently, actually, at the beginning of this season. So everybody has been learning it around the same time, and we've got some rain if we want to take a look at the weather. The weather right now is mostly cloudy. The track is somewhat dry. If we go ahead and quickly take a look at the forecast here, you can see we got rain a coming. And that is most likely going to be the whole time. So as you can see, it is 100% all the way through. This will be a wet race as the rain starts to fall again. And as I am the Aquaman, obviously this is a wonderful turn of events for me. I am very happy that we are in the rain for this first race. All right, so let's talk a little bit about CTD and what this looks like. CTD is a racing academy. The goal is for the drivers to hit 2K iRating in sports car. And the way that we do that is we host a Miata League, and then we also have the Academy, which is located on our Discord. The Discord it's like a very collaborative space. Everybody hops on, posting like lap telemetry, just generally talking about ways to tackle the officials for that week. We run the Production Cup Challenge schedule, and that's the one with the M2, the Renault Clio, the Toyota GR86, and then finally the MX-5. And we also talk about crashes that happen, just generally try to pump each other up and vent when necessary. And then on Thursdays, we run the league, and they are two 20-minute races. And this year we have something new, and that is teams. So as you can see, everybody has been assigned to a team. We're still sort of knocking out the kinks here, so you might see some people that aren't on a team, but it definitely brings a little bit of extra, I guess, added drama, which is, you not only want to do well, but you want your team to do well, and then team members might work together in order to, work together on the track. The other thing we do is practices. So the Sunday night before the official starts. So the track will always roll over to the next week on Monday evening. On Sunday evening, we have practice, and practice is about 2 hours. We spend about 45 minutes hot lapping the track. We'll do a bunch of drills. We'll do side-by-side drills, attack and defend drills. We'll do race start drills. We'll do pack racing drills. And the idea is that the drivers get a chance to understand what it's like to drive on a track, not only in like a hot lap style, but with other cars as well. And that means taking different lines, understanding what other cars may and may not try to do, where it is okay to overtake, where it might be more difficult to overtake, where you got to defend, where if you see someone going for it, you're just going to have to get out of the way, or you can defend it. All of that extra little bit of information, the racecraft, that does help the drivers break out of below 2K. So we have our drivers, all of the green drivers, I believe, are still under 2K. They haven't hit that 2K mark yet. Once you hit it, you're a graduate for life. So all of the purple drivers have gone ahead and hit that 2K mark, and now they are, racing here. They have decided to stay with us. We don't force people to stick around. Once you graduate, you don't have to stay at CTD. You can go spread your wings and fly, and other series. Many people do run other things once they're done with the Miata, but a lot of people stick around, not only to continue to run the Miata, but just to hang out with the community that we've built. So yeah, anyways, while all that's been going on, we have had qualifying in the rain. And right now we've got a brand new student, Dale Marshall, topping the leaderboards. However, we do have Josh King on a run. Let's see if we can hop on with him. Let's talk a little bit about St. Petersburg. St. Petersburg, it's a fairly tight track. It is about a minute and 30 seconds when you're not in the rain, or in the rain. It's probably about a minute 26 when it's not raining. And it's an interesting track. It's got a lot of tight corners. It is built for IndyCar. So it works well both in the open wheelers and in the sports cars. But just about every track is a good Miata track as long as it's like not too big. but Josh King could not uh, beat Dale's time. Dale with a really, really excellent time. And we're actually going to have four. Looks like we're, unless something major happens, and I don't see anybody else really on track, we're going to have four non-graduates leading us off, and that is a great start to the season. As we wait, now we do have 10 minutes for qualifying. We have 10 minutes for qualifying. They get, I believe, 3 laps, and then I believe that if they have started their lap by the time the clock hits 0, then they can finish it. But most of the drivers that we expected to see at the top are not there. We're very, very used to seeing Josh King up at the top. We're used to seeing Joe Beretta up at the top, but you can also see just like, look how close this is. But between the cars, look, between Jacob and Justin and Adam and Joey and Jeremy and Josh, they're separated by hundredths of a second. We also have 2 Manchero J's. We've got Justin. Justin is a graduate. Don't be fooled by the green. It will switch to purple at some point, but he is a graduate. And his brother David, who was here with us for the first time, is not a graduate. So there are 2 Manchero J's out there. Don't get fooled by them. They're both very, very nice as far as I remember. I have raced with Justin a couple times in officials, and yeah, he's a good dude. As we've got about 30 seconds left. And I thought we'd take a look at Dale Marshall's pole lap from his perspective. So we're going to see how he got around the track so quickly. And we are going to go ahead. You think you have it, and then you don't. Where are you, Dale? Let's see. Oh, lap. Oh man, this was a lot easier when I tried it the first time. So let's take a look. So he put in a 139.928, and we're going to take a look at him as we go around the track, and we're also going to go ahead and take a look at our starting grid. So Dale Marshall will start next to Gray Calabria, Jim Campbell behind him, Jacob Green in P4, Justin Manchero J P5, Adam McNeil P6, Jeremy Toasty in P7, Joey Gessinger in P8, and then Josh King and David Manchero J will round out the top 10. I gotta say, Dale looks very, very good through this tight section of the track. You can see during his lap, it was raining pretty hard. And he is managing to keep it on track and keep the car straight. He is now heading toward a really sort of steeper complex. It's going to be a left. He's going to have to stay all the way out to the right and then prepare for the next right-hander. You see, this is sort of a little bit of a chicane. You can cut the corner, but that might unsettle the car, and then get ready for a hairpin. Will he go down into first? He will go down into first. And he is going to really, really expertly get back on the gas there, and that is a lap of St. Petersburg. All right, let's go ahead and get ready to get started here. Sorry, I am a bit rusty, and I'm commentating and I'm the control guy at the same time, so I apologize for any sort of, let's say, hiccups in both the camera work and talking. It's difficult, but you're not here to sympathize with me. You're here to watch some racing, and I don't want to let down the millions of fans that I know are tuning in right now. And we are going to get underway here pretty soon. We are going to have a full pace lap in the wet today. I'm curious to see how this goes. We don't know Dale. And we do know Greg, Jim, and Jacob. They've been racing with us for a while. Same with Justin, Adam, Jeremy, Joey, Josh. I mean, all of these guys are known quantities. Dale Marshall is not. So to have him just sort of come in, set a pole position lap on his first try it's excellent. A very excellent start to his CTD career. Hopefully he will stick around, because we need more people up at the top. You know, it can get boring when it's the same couple guys fighting over and over and over again. The other thing to consider, these track conditions will continue to deteriorate over the course of this lap. That is an issue. Will drivers have to stop? Are they on wets? Are they on dries? I actually can't tell. Actually, everybody is on wet tires. Everybody's on wets, so we don't have to worry about that, but the track will get progressively wetter. And we should be off here pretty soon. We will wait for the pace car to take a hike. We don't want that pace car. Yeah, if you are interested in joining CTD, you can find us on Reddit if you search Chasing the Delta. You can also go to chasingthedelta.com. There is a place to apply. Any and all skills are welcome. We just ask that you commit to driving the Miata with us. And you don't have to show up every Wednesday or every Thursday and Sunday, but it really, really helps if you do. We found that the drivers that show up the most are the ones that graduate the quickest and end up getting more out of their time with us. That being said, everybody's busy. God knows I am, so. All right, the pace car is off. We are waiting for Dale Marshall to start this race.
Green flag, green
and
flag.
Off we go. We've got green flag. Dale Marshall gets an excellent start behind Greg Calabria going into the first corner, and we are going to have a lot of cars going into a tight space. Do we have a little bit of door banging? Will that turn into a big accident? It doesn't look like it, but very excellently handled by Dale. They are all on cold, wet tires. They did get a chance to warm them up during the pace lap, but they are off, and that is going to be, it looks like Jim Campbell fighting Greg Calabria for second. Here we go. This is Greg Calabria. Very nicely good run, and there goes Jim Campbell. Jim Campbell, and I want to say, oh, I can't tell who's in that crash, but there's a huge pileup. Oh no! Oh, that crash caused a horrible pileup, and now it's chaos. Oh no, that is great for the drivers that made it through, and horrible for all the drivers that didn't. And now we have Greg Calabria leading the race behind with Justin Mancherje and Michael Gonçalves behind him, but it's just Greg and Justin that are anywhere near the front. Oh man, we didn't get a chance to see what happened, but that was chaos. That crash held up the entire field, and you could see that was a wide track. And we will see the timing tower update when we cross the finish line, but we're going to see a 2-horse race for P1, and that's going to be between Greg Calabria and Justin Mancherje. Meanwhile, we've got more crashes. It looks like that's going to be Youngwon Kim and Adam McNeil potentially slowing down. Looks like Jacob and Josh did get meatballed during that melee. That is unfortunate for them. Jacob Green. Jacob, I believe, was the guy who got spun out there. He was in 4th position when that happened, so that is super unfortunate. But yeah, so we can now see the consequences of that massive crash, and we have never seen that in CTD, have a crash that literally takes up the whole track and everybody has to come to a huge track. Greg Calabria leads Justin Mancherje by about 1.5 seconds. 9 seconds behind him is Michael Gonçalves, followed by Joe Beretta, Jim Campbell, Douglas Mellon, Joey Essinger, Dale Marshall, who did start in pole. He's now going to have to fight his way back. David Mancherje and Isaac Swilliam. And we're going to have battles all over. The track is only going to get wetter. Oh, man. So let's go ahead and take a look at some battles that might be going on. We do have a battle here. We got 4 cars. This is Keith, Adam, and there will be some door banging going through. It looks like everybody made it through okay. As we come around this corner, you can see Adam. I believe that's Adam's car. Adam's car is slightly banged up, as you might imagine. We also have a battle between Steve Hill and Gage Himes. Gage is actually a new coach. Steve is a more recent graduate. So they'll be racing here in the rain. And we've got a battle for third. We certainly, the battle for P1 has actually, Justin Mantirje had issues. Justin is all the way in the back. And yeah, he's fighting for third with Michael Goncalves, and Greg Calabria has a 13-second lead over the pack. Well, Greg, you got one job. And that job is to bring it on home as Joe Beretta takes P3 from Michael Goncalves. Michael going to go ahead and let the America car have that position. Meanwhile, we got Dale Marshall. Again, he was leading the race with Gage Himes. Gage is going to go ahead, try to make a move around the outside. He does make it stick, and now Dale is under pressure from Steve Hill. Yeah, we didn't see what happened to Justin Mantirje. We have somebody that goes into the wall, and that's Adam McNeil. Adam McNeil with a big crash, and we do expect to see it. This is a rainy race, and these Miatas don't have downforce, so it can be very difficult. And that is a meatball, unfortunately, for Adam McNeil. Oh, man. This rainy track. This was just early chaos. So Steve Hill has taken that position from Dale Marshall. As the track gets wetter, we might see those more experienced graduate drivers do a lot better in the rain. Dale is about 1,200. Sometimes drivers come in and their I rating doesn't represent their skill. It looks like Dale seems quite a bit better than maybe his 1,200 I rating would suggest with his excellent pole lap. And we're going to see what other battles are going on. Greg Calabria with a 13-second lead over Justin Mantirje. Justin with a 3-second lead over Joe Beretta, who has gotten some distance, and we've got distance down the order here. As we take a look at our overall positions here, you can see that for the most part, there's seconds between each car. So we're going to go ahead and try to look for a battle, and it looks like Douglas Melton and Dale Marshall might be fighting. It's a bit hard to tell. Looks like Dale has secured P10. He does have Keith Gwinnett behind him. Let's take a look at our time remaining. There's only been 5 minutes in this race, and it feels like it's been going on forever. Meanwhile, this is going to be a move by Isaac Swillam on Douglas Melton, or Douglas Mellon. Will Douglas be able to keep it from Isaac? Isaac around the outside there, and he is going to take the position from Douglas. We did hear some tire squealing there, but I don't see an accident, nor did I hear a crash, so we should be good. Now we have Joey Essinger and Michael Goncalves. These guys, a couple seasons ago, did have a pretty heated rivalry. They're both graduates now. They weren't at the time. Joey Essinger is going to make a mover on the inside. Michael Goncalves giving him a ton of room. Maybe now they're in the GT4s, they're able to give each other a little bit more room, but that will be the place for Joey Essinger. Meanwhile, Douglas Mellon falling through the track a little bit. These are tough conditions for Douglas, and who knows who has damage at this point. It wouldn't surprise me if quite a few drivers have damage. Whew. All right, let's take a deep breath. Let's take a look at where we are. The fastest driver on track is still Greg Calabria, up at the front, 13.5 seconds behind. So he is not slowing down. He just did his best lap of the race. He is in control of this race and could probably do a lot wrong and still win it. Meanwhile, Justin Mantirje is about 4 seconds ahead of Joe Beretta. Joey Essinger, we did see take that position from Michael Goncalves, who is pretty slow in the rain right now. So we'll see if Jim Campbell actually can catch him. So we see now that is Jim Campbell sans his bumper, his front bumper. He's going to be chasing down Michael Goncalves, and the question is, will he be able to take this position? Jim Campbell ran a 34.9 last lap. Michael Goncalves with a 38.8. And he hasn't run anything faster than a 38.2. So he might not have a handle on this Miata in this conditions. And, he might be easy pickings for Jim Campbell. Jim, a very, very strong driver. Definitely expect he is certainly good enough to graduate. He's just got to get over that hump with officials. And, a little bit of a slide there by Jim. But he is going to maintain control of the car. And he's going to continue to chase down Michael, and he is just sort of gaining time corner after corner here. He's also going to pick up his draft as well. We're also going to see Gage take that position from the Mantier brother, David. Gage up to 7th place. Gage is also going to look to chase down Michael and Jim, and Gage is going quickly. Gage is a Valhalla driver, I believe, one of Aaron Myers' teammates. As we have Sue, that was a big slide, and that is going to be, oh, I can't tell who that was. It wasn't Jim Campbell. It wasn't Michael Goncalves. It wasn't Gage Hines. Who was it? I'm not really sure who spun out there. You know, it was probably somebody who was lapped. That is most likely who it is, and that's why I didn't see them fall on my particular timing screen. As James Cox in the Reese's car is going to go ahead and try to take this position away from Keith Gwinnett or Isaac Swelliam. Isaac isn't letting him have it easy. Meanwhile, you've got David Mancherje, and he is off the track. David is off the track, and that is also Keith Gwinnett. And Keith just toes. That's it for Keith, it looks like, for this race. He is out of it. That is unfortunate for him. Meanwhile, you know, let's take a look at how much time we've got left. We've got about 10 minutes remaining. This race has felt like it is taking forever. Gray Calabria easily bringing this on home. He has slowed down a little bit, but that is okay. He has 12.5 seconds to work with. Meanwhile, Michael Goncalves, Jim Campbell, and Gage Hines are barreling down on 5th place here. And that's going to be, that's going to be another crash in meatballs for Dale Marshall and David Mancherje. Dale's first race with us, starting in pole, ending poorly, unfortunately for him. But we're going to have a 3-man battle in the wet here down the front straight. Right now, Michael Goncalves has that position, but Gage has overtaken Jim Campbell. And we're going to see whether Gage wants to make this move into the inside, and he is going to take it. And that is going to be Gage Hines up in 5th place. And now Gage has quite the gap to Joe Barata up ahead. He's got 14 seconds to make up. Not sure he's going to be able to do that, but, you know, it is what it is. Meanwhile, that battle between Michael and Jim continues. However, this time it's for 6th place, and we did see Jim close that gap pretty consistently. We also have a battle between Steve Hill and Jeremy Toasty as well, so we're going to keep an eye on that. It does look like Toasty fell back. Toasty had an issue, and that is going to bring him far behind Steve, and that brings that battle to a close. We've also got a battle between James Cox and Brendan Hardy. Brendan did just take that position from the Reese's driver and is going to make it stick through the corner. But the main battle here is for 6th place. And we're also going to take a look at P2 and P3 as well. Those guys have yo-yoed a bit. Justin Mancherje and Joey Essinger are within a second of each other. And Joe Barata, you know, sailing behind them a couple seconds back, hoping that maybe he'll be able to take that position should this battle go poorly for either of them. And that's going to be Joey Essinger just sliding around there. He's going to lose almost a second down to Justin Mancherje as a car comes out of the pits. I believe that was maybe Keith. I'm not really sure. But we got a couple cars. You know, they do get unlimited fast repairs. So, you know, if the race isn't over, if you get meatballed, you can still get back out there on this wet track. And that's going to be Joey taking that position from Justin Mancherje. Justin has an issue. Justin has crashed. We don't know how he crashed, but that is going to bring Joey Essinger up to 2nd place and brings Joe Barata onto the podium, but Joe is around 2. Joe's around 2. He spun by himself, and that's going to hold up, I believe, Gage Hines. No, it isn't. That was a lapped car that held up. But Joe Barata's going to have to take a sweet time to turn his car back around, and that's just going to give Justin that podium right back. Whew, man. Nothing is ever over. And now that it's going to put Joe Barata under heavy pressure from Gage Hines, who is sliding his car around. And Joe is a fierce fighter. We shouldn't expect him to give this position to Gage quite easily, but Gage is seriously quick. Meanwhile, we do see Jim Campbell going on the inside of Michael Goncalves, and it does look like he's going to make it stick for now. Michael having a look up the inside, but I do believe that as long as Jim is able to nail this corner, he should take this position from Michael Goncalves and be able to hold it. Meanwhile, all the way in the back, we've got a battle between Jason Chisel, Youngwon Kim in his first race or second race with us, and Jacob Green. Youngwon takes that position. Youngwon is a sick driver. He got up to 2K in Formula V like this week. Just grinding out those races. So very, very nicely done from Youngwon. Meanwhile, this battle for P4, I should say, is heating up. Joe Barata, lost 15 seconds on that last lap, but he's doing an admirable job holding back a very game Gage Hyams. Gage patiently waiting for his moment. Right on the bumper, and he's going to make a move under the inside, and Joe really had no choice there but to give him the room, and Gage is off into fourth. 6 minutes remaining in this action-packed race. Of course, a lot of the action has a lot to do with the state of the track. So we're going to go ahead and take a deep breath and look at the overall picture of things. Greg Calabria and Justin Mancherje got a huge advantage from a crash that pretty much stopped everybody but those two in their tracks on lap 1. Greg Calabria has been able to keep it clean. He is in the lead by 12 seconds. Joey Essinger is in P2. He was a beneficiary also of that big crash. He was able to make it through, I believe, in third, but has fought his way all the way up to second. Justin Mancherje in third place, 13 seconds behind Joey. And Justin really did have a spin that cost him a ton of time. That is the reason he is so far behind. He had 2 spins, actually. One when he was chasing down Greg, the other when he was running away from Joey. And those have unfortunately cost him. Gage Hyams in fourth, Joe Barata in fifth. We do see Jim Campbell pretty quickly opening that gap to Michael Goncalves as we expected him. And then we got 2 crashes that Youngwon and Jacob. Looks like Jacob is going to take that position from Youngwon, but I don't think Youngwon was actually hurt in that crash. And that's going to give that position to Josh King, and they're going to go side by side in the rain through this really tight corner of the track. Josh King, a very strong driver. Youngwon, we saw him defend very fiercely in the first race, which unfortunately wasn't broadcasted, but Youngwon defended his butt off, but not enough, unfortunately, to hold Josh King behind for 14th place. All right, back to the sort of the big picture here. Michael Goncalves, we did expect Jim to open that gap to him. He has. Now Steve Hill, who is pretty considerably faster overall than Michael in these conditions, at least, is going to be chasing down Michael. Now, Michael did a great job of holding off Jim for a couple laps, like a pretty extended period of time given, the pace difference there. And behind Steve is Jeremy Toasty, and Jeremy is right in the draft. He's getting a little nip of the draft. And any mistake by any of these racers in these conditions is simply going to be catastrophic. And that's Youngwon Kim, unfortunately, being pointed the wrong way. Man, this is a topsy-turvy race, but we do see this battle for 7th heating up. And that is going to be Michael Goncalves, Steve Hill, and Jeremy Toasty. Jeremy has caught up to the 2 of them. How good will Michael Goncalves be at defending this position from Steve Hill, who has a look around the outside, and maybe he's going to have a look around the inside of the chicane. And that is going to be Steve Hill momentarily taking the lead, but now we're going to go 3 wide down the back straight here, and who is going to end up in front? And that's going to be Jeremy Toasty and Michael Goncalves fighting for it. But now we've got an inside, and that's going to give Michael Goncalves the advantage. Now we've got another right-hander into a left-hander, and that's going to be Jeremy Toasty taking 2 positions away from that group. But woo, sliding around there, just barely avoiding the tire barrier. Steve Hill is going to want that position. Jeremy coming right up, taking it from both of them. He's going to open the gap while Steve and Michael fight. And that was very well done by Jeremy Toasty to take 7th place. Michael Goncalves is going to do his best to hold off Steve Hill, and let's see whether he will be able to do it or not. Steve having a look around the outside. Not entirely sure what he's looking for. The gap's a little bit too big there for him to make a move. So he is going to have a look up the inside of the final turn here onto the start-finish straight, but nothing there. But this is a long straight, and we got a draft. We should have about 2 laps to go here. We've got 1 minute and 30 seconds remaining on the time. So as soon as Greg Calabria, with the healthy lead that he has, crosses the finish line, we will have the white flag. And what has been an action-packed race for a lot of different reasons. The weather, that initial crash just threw everything into chaos. You know, the Miatas are not easy to drive in these conditions, and we saw that today. Steve Hill with a look on the inside from Michael Goncalves. It's not there. Michael Goncalves continues to hold them up. Greg Calabria right now is going to cross the line, and this should be white flag. This is white flag for these drivers. It's Greg Calabria on his victory lap. Greg just has to not bin it, and he will take away, I believe, his first race win of the season. Actually, he might have won one last week. I don't remember. At Oulton Park. But Greg, a driver who is also on the edge of graduating, certainly has the talent and the racecraft, just needs to put in the races. He is going to just cruise to a victory here at our first race in St. Petersburg. Now, we should also mention that, you know, as Michael Goncalves continues to hold off Steve Hill, that the next race also has a 25% chance of rain. And Steve is going to go ahead and have a look up the inside here, and Michael's going to try to keep it stuck around the outside, and he hasn't quite done it. That is going to be Steve Hill. Looks like he is going to have an advantage, and he will take the position from Michael Goncalves, and Michael will fall to 9th. I got to say, Michael defended very well considering the pace disadvantage he is at. As you can see, the gap almost instantly opens up massively. But that is it in terms of battles. We do have a battle for 16th place between Jason Thistle and Youngwon Kim, but these guys are a lap down as we see Douglas Mellon rejoin the track behind them. So I think we should just watch Greg Calabria as he goes down the front straight. And Greg Calabria is going to win race 1 of week 2 of Chasing the Delta Season 8. You know, not to say that Greg did not get a bit lucky, but his qualifying put him at the start of the grid. He drove a perfect race from there. He made no mistakes, and he very much deserves that win. Congratulations to Greg. Joey Essinger is going to go ahead and finish P2 without his bumper. Justin Mancherje, he's going to go ahead and finish in P3. Gage Himes fights from the back into P4. Joe Barata is going to cross in P5. He was on the podium, but unfortunately, he did lose control. Jim Campbell in 6th. Looks like we'll have Jeremy Toasty in 7th, Steve Hill in 8th, Michael Goncalves in 9th, and James Cox in 10th. Let's take a look at the teams. Late Breakers Anonymous. The only, him and Greg and Josh are the only members that are in the top 15, but Greg, with that first place, just did a lot of good for his team. Meanwhile, we got 2 draft theory drivers. Joey Essinger and Justin Mancherje take P2, P3, followed by 3 Curb Raiders, Gage, Joe, and Jim. Jeremy Toasty, the only driver representing Edge of Grip Racing, in P7, and then Steve Hill, James. We should just put Michael on the Edge of Grip since they need more representation in this top 15. And then the Chicane Cartel, also represented by Steve, James, and Jacob. Well, thank you all for joining us on race 1. This was a crazy first race. I'm hoping for a bit of a cleaner second race, but the likelihood of it raining is also lower, but it's still possible. And we will see you then. This race should start. Let's see, what would be the time that this race would start? This race should start approximately 9:48 Eastern time. So make sure you check back in then. and we will see you then. And we are back for race 2 of Chasing the Delta, week 2, season 8. Race 1 was a doozy. We had a rainy event. We had a couple absolutely massive crashes, including one that blocked off practically the entire grid on lap 1. That allowed 2 guys to get right into the lead, never let it go. That 2 became 1, and that was Greg Calabria, who took the win in the wet on race 1. Race 2, it is dry. If we take a look at the weather, mostly cloudy. Track conditions fairly nice for Florida standards, 85%. Quite humid, 91%. But otherwise, that is okay. I think these guys would rather have that than the rain. So we're seeing a lot of good laps, and now we're starting to see, the guys that we thought would be up at the front. They're there. And let's take a look at how things are going right now. Josh King, 1,000th of a second, clips Justin Mancherje for pole position. And then Justin's brother David coming in right behind the Mancherje brothers right now in P3, and Steve Hill right behind him in P4. And then, guys, look at the gaps all the way down to P14. Let's just read them off. All right, from Steve Hill and then Greg Calabria, we've got 700ths, 300ths, 300ths, 500ths, 500ths, 300ths, 100th, 1/10th, 700ths. This is a seriously packed grid. These guys are all very close to each other. The difference between P4 and P11 appears to be 4/10 of a second, actually all the way down to P12 is 4/10 of a second. 14th is P5, or 5/10 of a second. So, we are hoping that this will be a bit less of a crash fest, given that the last race was in the rain. But man, what a performance in this event. All right, still got about a minute 25 left to qualify, and let's take a look at that Josh King lap. Whoops. Keep forgetting I can do this. So this is Josh King, and this is Josh King's pole position lap. And you're going to see him not only take this very, very well, but don't forget, this is a 1,000th of a second gap to P2. So every little thing you see him do here matters. He also, I believe, holds the lap record for CTD on this track. I think he's put in a 24.5, which is very, very strong. And he put that in last race, or during practice before the rain came tumbling down. Along this very long back straight. You can imagine that for the Indy cars, this is quite nice. Then there's going to be this sharp left-hander. Just keeping it in second, and then no issues taking the curb. The curbs in a car like the Miata can be very, very unsettling. But I think we're going to see him jump the curb again. No, he sort of clips it, but that's going to be the lap because we're going to grid. So because we were rudely taken out of Josh King's lap, let's go ahead and take a look at our starting grid. Josh King, 1,000th of a second over Justin Mancherje. They'll line up 1 and 2. David Mancherje will line up right next to Steve Hill on the second row. Joey Essinger in our first place for last race. Greg Calabria will be in the third row. Jim Campbell and Jacob Green on the fourth row. And then finally Dale Marshall and Adam McNeil, P9 and P10. Now, Dale did get pole position, but unfortunately did get swallowed up in a couple crashes, ended up meatballing, and that was that for him. He will be looking to have a much cleaner race this time around. Now, you might be wondering, hey, didn't we do a full pace lap last time? We did. For science, we are doing 1 lap with a full pace car and 1 lap with a half pace car. Unfortunately, science did not consider that 1 lap would be wet and 1 lap would be dry, so I don't think we're going to get good data out of it. But it does mean we're going to get a quicker race race start here. So let's take a look at the teams. See if we have anybody lining up next to each other in the same team, and it doesn't look like it. Neither David, Michael, or AJ seem to have teams assigned, so we will have to get on that and make sure that they get on a team. Or if they're on a team, we gotta put it in the system. We patiently wait for the pace car, which seems to be taking its pretty sweet time. Getting going, but finally it does, and it will lead us through the back half of this course. Guys that are in the back, Joe Barata in P12. You know, he is typically at the front of these races, but he will find himself in P12 after this qualifying was so close. Same with Jeremy Toasty. He's going to find himself all the way back in P15. James Cox, also a perennial contender, is going to find himself in P16, and then Gage Hyams and Keith Gwinnett, the coaches, will start from the back as they usually do, and do what they can to try to make it through the field. And that is going to be the pace car off, and that is going to be Josh King taking a huge lead over Justin Mancherje as they head to the front stretch. Off we go into the all-important first turn. Remember, this was the complex that we saw a huge crash in last time. So far, so good, as we head through this part of the track. Oh, we do see somebody spinning, and I can't tell who that is right now, but it doesn't seem to have caused the issues that it did last race. And that will be Adam McNeil, unfortunately, who is spinning the wrong way. I don't think he took damage, though, which is nice to see. So he should be able to get his way back up as the cars are clumped up. Justin Mancherje still in second place behind Josh King. Josh got an excellent start. He did dictate the pace lap and the green flag, and he just seemed right ahead of Justin, maybe caught him off guard. All right, let's take a look. Joe Barata already up to 8th place, as that is Dale Marshall, and we got another, oh my God, dude. We have another crash that has brought a significant amount of the field to a stop. And that is really, really unfortunate for everybody that got behind them. And I believe that's Steve Hill now spun the wrong way. Guys, it's dry.
You can't park there.
You know, we thought that we weren't going to be crashing. Turns out that was not true. And Steve Hill, unfortunately, he does have to tow. He is meatballed, and that will be the end of his race, as well as Jim Marshall's and Matthew Coley's. All righty, let's take a look at the battle for first. Josh King, you know, Justin Mancherje is right on his bumper. That is a huge amount of the draft, but has not managed to close the gap enough to make a move into turn one. This will be a really, really close battle. Once again, these guys were a 1,000th of a second off in qualifying. They probably have just about equal pace, but given, I think, Josh's sort of speed and pace on this track, I really would not be surprised if he was the favorite. We also see a battle for third between Joey Essinger, David Mancherje, Jacob Green, and Joe Barata. They are all in a pack. We are going to try to keep an eye on all of these at the same time. There are a lot of battles going on. The pack has not spread out. But Joey is about 5 seconds behind Josh and Justin, who are currently fighting it out. So these two guys are the current race contenders right now. As we do see, it does seem like Josh will carry a pretty sizable lead onto that long straight. Let's see how Joey does, as it seems like we've got Jacob Green having a look around the outside here. Joe Barata right behind him. Nothing coming. Did hear some tire squealing behind them as there is a huge fight for 8th place. But nothing doing then. As we can see, Justin did not get the requisite speed that he needed in order to go for a pass here, and he will just bump Josh King as he heads into the first complex. Meanwhile, Justin Mancherje leads Joey Essinger into this next complex, and it does look like Joey was able to take that place from Joey. And Jacob is able to stay in front of Joe Barata, and that is Greg Calabria catching up to them, and as long as these guys keep fighting, they will continue to catch up. But this is very, very nice from the other Mancherje brother, doing quite well here. And he is going to try to open a gap as the guys behind him fight. Now we can see Joey Essinger has a lot behind him. He's got Jacob Green behind him, he's got Joe Barata behind him, and he's soon to have Greg Calabria behind him. And what that means is that David Mancherje, if he is able to pull away a little bit, might put Joey Essinger in a position where he is going to have to focus more on defense than offense, and that might allow him here to move away from the field as we see Jacob Green look on the inside. A little bit of contact. They stick together, and that might be Joe Barata's time to take this position. And that will be Joe Barata. Does look like he has the place coming into this complex, and he will keep it. So he took advantage of the fight between Jacob and Joey to go ahead and take that position as they bump doors again heading into the front straight, and that is going to be Greg Calabria, who is right there with Michael Gonçalves, who has also caught the pack. And, you know, we did talk about David Mancherje taking advantage of this, and he has. He's now 2 seconds ahead of this roving pack, and now it looks like Joe Barata might be the guy who is taking advantage of the fighting behind him, because we have Jacob Green and Greg Calabria, and they crash! That is Greg and Jacob into the wall, and I think Greg got it worse. Greg is meatballed. That is unfortunate for him. Didn't exactly see what happened, but you know, Greg, you did win the first race. Not a lot to be, you know, that is upsetting. I'm curious to see what happened. We also do a race review at the end of each race, just so you know. You know, the goal is not to blame people, but just to understand what happened and learn from the future. So when your iRating's on the line, it doesn't happen. But yeah, now we've got the classic battle between Joey Essinger and Michael Gonçalves. Michael was really no match for Joey in the wet, but in the dry, Michael be a completely different beast, and Joey's going to take a look here and defend on the inside. Michael coming very close to the wall, but nothing there. And, oof. You know, we are about 6 minutes into this race, and it has been an action-packed one. You can see, will Justin be able to make a move into turn one? This is the closest he's gotten, and he will. That will be Josh King giving up P1 for the first time this race to Justin Mancherje. And we're now going to see the speed of Josh King behind Justin. You know, Justin wasn't able to make a lot of progress on Josh on the track, and he really waited until the front straight in order to make that position. He's also got someone behind him as well, Josh, but they aren't racing each other, so Josh shouldn't feel like he needs to defend. But Justin is having a much better lap, and he is pulling almost a second of a gap. Meanwhile, we do have a battle for P9 between Brendan Hardy, Adam McNeil, who has fought his way back up, and Gage Hyams, and we're going to have 3 wide going down the back straight here, and that should be Gage Hyams taking that position. A little bit of door banging with Brendan Hardy, but Brendan Hardy is not giving it up. But it does look like Greg has too much exit speed, or Gage has too much exit speed. He will take the position, and that will be Adam McNeil taking that place from Brendan Hardy. Oh, man. There have been a lot of battles here that are heating up. It is hard to pass on this track. I think that is something that we saw from the wet race. It also is proving true to the dry that there aren't that many passing opportunities. And it really does look like the back straight where you get, or the front straight where you get the draft, is the best opportunity that we've seen to pass. We have seen moves made on the back straight as well, but that front straight is so long, you're also in the draft the whole time. And that seems to be where the passes are going. And speaking of that back straight, we do see Josh King coming right up side by side with Justin. He is going to have a look around the inside of this complex as they head towards that front straight. But you can see Justin just taking the recommended line very, very nicely through the street track. Street tracks can be hard to pass on. You know, you're not supposed, these city roads are not supposed to be super wide, and they're not really thought of with racing in mind. As we head down the back straight here, let's take a look and see where Josh comes out. And as we do that, let's take a look at our overall positions here and just sort of get a lay of the land with 11 minutes to go. Justin Mancherier and Josh King are fighting P1 and P2. Justin's brother David in P3 with a 2-second lead over P4 Joe Barata. Joey Essinger and Michael Goncalves continue to battle for that P5 spot. Youngwon Kim in 7th, Jeremy Toasty in 8th, Gage Himes in 9th, and Adam McNeil in 10th place. We have seen some big crashes. We have seen some good battles. And the 2 battles that are happening right now are for P1, and that will be Justin Mancherier and Josh King as Justin holds it into the first corner. And then Joey Essinger, who is going to be trying to hold off Michael Goncalves, and Michael's going to have a look on the inside into turn 1. Is he going to have it? Looks like Joey may have the speed, but did Michael take the corner a little bit better? He did not. And it looks like Joey has this position for now, but Michael is gaining on him through this corner. Is he going to get a better exit? He's got to get real close to the wall. Doesn't look like it, and this fighting is bringing Youngwon Kim right up to the back of them. You know, if Joey and Michael keep slowing each other down, then that is going to put Youngwon Kim, and we have seen that Youngwon is a hyper-competent racer. He is very quick, and he is not somebody to underestimate. Meanwhile, Justin doing a great job holding this position from Josh King. Joey Essinger continues to hold this position for Michael Goncalves and Youngwon Kim. Youngwon did back up a little bit. It looks like he did have a problem, and that might put him under pressure. Actually, he doesn't. The car behind Youngwon is lapped, so he is okay from the back at the moment. It can be hard to see. And that is going to be Michael Goncalves taking that position from Joey Essinger. As soon as I stopped paying attention, he did it. We're going to see whether he can hold it down the back straight or the front straight. That was really close as Justin maintains that lead. He just seems to be at a much more consistent place with Josh, and that is Michael into the wall. Oh no, something happened with Michael, and that is going to put Youngwon Kim and Joey Essinger and Jacob Green, although he's a lap down, all fighting with each other. All right, the battle is now between Joey Essinger and Youngwon Kim. You know, I don't know whether Joey was involved in the incident with Michael Goncalves. If it was, it's not immediately clear that he has damage. But it is clear that Youngwon has no intention of letting him sit behind him for much longer. They are going to head down the back straight here. That was unfortunate. Michael waited very, very patiently for the pass. He did get it on the back straight, but it is a tough complex to get onto the front straight, and it can be easy to lose the car there if that's what happened. And we do see another person has lost his car, and that is David Mancherier. And he is meatballed from 3rd. He must have been all alone when that happened. That is so unfortunate for David. He was having such a good race. But he is unfortunately being waved the black and yellow meatball flag. As you can see, you can probably barely see over that hood. Can we actually take a look at what that looks like? Yes. This is the view for David Mancherier as he tries to drive his car back to the pits. But unless you are a giraffe, you might struggle to drive this car back. That is unfortunate for David. David was doing great, but unfortunately he will have to pit and get this repaired. Alrighty. 8 minutes to go. Justin Mancherier holds the lead from Josh King. Justin has been consistently maintaining this 5 to 8 of a gap lead through the track, and Josh has he has not had the best exits, I think, onto that front straight. Otherwise, I think he might have more opportunities to take the lead from Justin. But Justin is either quicker through this entire complex or just better at that last turn. And we're actually going to see it now. We're going to see who gets a good exit here. And you can see Justin gets the exit, and he's got about a 0.5 of a second gap. And this is a long straight, but these are Miatas. They're not going that fast. So we're actually going to see how much of a gap you get in the draft here. You can see not much as Josh King actually lost time. I wonder if Josh has some unseen damage we don't know about. I don't think so. He does have no incident points. So, we will see. And while that does put Joe Barata in third place, Joey Essinger still holding off Youngwon Kim. And now Jeremy Tosti has caught up to the back of Youngwon, and he is now going to be in that fight for fourth. Meanwhile, Michael Goncalves, I don't know if he has damage, but what he does have is Gage Hyams. Gage, a 4,000 I rating driver. He is very fast, and he is likely going to take this position from Michael without too much of a fight. But we'll see. Michael was able to really defend quite well. Last race, he's probably a little bit upset about his spin from his fight with Joey. And we're going to see whether Michael can hold off Gage. He's doing very, very well defensively right here. Michael has quite a good defensive acumen. I think that's quite fair to say here. So let's see. Yeah, Michael got a good exit onto this long straight here. If we look, Gage can have a look around the outside. But it does look like Michael is just going to go ahead and keep it from him. Just really excellent driving from Michael. And we're going to see who gets the good exit. That is going to be Gage. With the better exit, he's going to come right up to Michael's bumper here. And we will see whether he's going to have the overspeed here in order to make a move. And we have a battle now between Jeremy Tosti and Youngwon Kim. Happening behind it as Gage does take the position from Michael Goncalves. That's going to be Jeremy Tosti up to fifth. Nicely done by by Joey and Jeremy there. All right, 5 minutes to go. Let's take a look at our standings. Justin Mancherje has now a 3-second lead. Oh, something happened with Josh. Josh is no longer in contention for this race. And that is going to be Justin Mancherje with now a sizable gap over Josh King. But Josh is still in second place by about 17 seconds. So he still has a lot to work with. But something happened. He lost a ton of time. Looks like maybe into the first corner. It's hard to see. He had 227 laps in a row. So unfortunate for him. But Joe Barata in third place now has a fight on his hands. Joey Essinger has caught him. Jeremy Tosti has caught him. And Youngwon Kim has caught him. And Joe Barata looking for another podium. Will he get it? No, I don't think he podiumed last race, did he? I don't remember. That was already a long time ago. But he was certainly in the fight for one. But actually, I do believe he spun in the wet. And he did lose his chance at the podium. But now he has a fighting chance for one. And the people who are trying to take it from him are Joey Essinger, Jeremy Tosti, and Youngwon Kim. I'm curious what happened with Josh. Josh doesn't have any incident points. It doesn't look like he hit the wall. He doesn't look like he lost control. It'll be curious to go back and look after the race to see what happened. We can take a deep breath here, and Joey Essinger finds himself in one of the most difficult spots in the race, which is when you are on offense and on defense at the same time. What can often happen is you make a move to go on the offense, it doesn't work, it actually slows you down because now you have to overslow, or maybe you went to the inside and took a suboptimal line to try to get the pass done, and that puts you at risk of getting passed, and it looks like Joey got a horrible exit onto the front straight, and that's just going to give Jeremy Tosti most likely a free pass here into fourth, but Joey is in Joe's draft, and that might give him a little extra speed, but it doesn't look like it's enough, and that will be Jeremy Tosti for now, taking P4 from Joey Essinger. We still have 2 laps to go, though. Anything can happen is, oof, that was a bit of a slide from Joe Barata. I don't know if he's feeling the pressure from Jeremy and Joey behind him, but that was close. That was close to another big incident for Joe. Joe certainly wants to keep this podium for America, and let's see if he can. You can see Justin Mancherje now very, very comfortably in the lead. A 5-second gap to Josh King, who has slowed down considerably. Not sure whether Josh is just sort of taking his foot off the gas metaphorically or whether he does have damage. But Justin, without, barring some sort of catastrophic incident, should sail to the win here. Meanwhile, we still have this battle between Jeremy Toasty, Joe Barata, and Joe Yestinger, as Justin Mancherje is going to take the white flag into the first complex, and look at him go all by himself. 5-second gap to the car in front. There is now a ton of pressure on Joe Barata to keep this podium. You can see him setting up on the outside into this front straight to try to, sort of shake Jeremy Toasty out of the draft. Jeremy did dutifully stick behind him, but it does not look like he was able to get much done there. And this is, time is running out for Jeremy Toasty and Joe Yestinger if they want this, podium. Now, I will say that Joey does seem to have fallen back a little bit, but look at Jeremy Toasty. Jeremy Toasty is weaving behind like he is a basket weaving woman from Central America. And he is certainly putting the pressure on Joe, and we did see Joe almost lose it on the last lap. Joe Barata still maintaining that position as we see Justin Mancherje head on to the final straight here. And this will be Justin Mancherje winning race 2 of Chasing the Delta week 2 of season 8, and this is going to be it. Will Jeremy Toasty get on this podium? Will Joe Barata hold him off? He's going to have him move all the way around the outside, and we might have a drag race to the finish as Jeremy Toasty does get nice speed, but it doesn't look like it's going to be enough. Joe Barata is going to weave out to the side. Jeremy is going to stick behind him, and I do think that it will be Joe Barata staying on the podium. Jeremy Toasty in 4th place. And now we have the traditional CTD crash into the wall. And as this race finishes up, we're going to take a look at our race results. Justin Mancherje, excellent drive, no mistakes, took the lead from Josh King after losing pole by 1,000th of a second and takes race 2. Josh King behind him had sort of an not sure what happened there, maybe even like an equipment bug. But that he fell behind, but he did take P2. Joe Barata barely holding off that position. He will be the AM winner. He will be on the podium in P3. Jeremy Toasty in P4. Joe Yestinger in P5. Gage Hyams from the back to 6th place. Jungwon Kim, excellently done in P7. Michael Goncalves, nice recovery in P8. Ali Tayari, who joined the league like right before this race, he's going to go ahead and take P9, and Adam McNeil is going to take P10. Well, what an action-packed day. Thank you for bearing with me as we figured out some of the kinks for the Season 8 broadcast. This was a lot of fun. St. Pete turned out to be an excellent track with a lot of really fun battles, including the weather, which really took a lot of race 1 and made it a bit of a clown fiesta. Next week, we will be at another street track. We will be on the Adelaide Street Circuit, another newer track. This came out the season before. So if it's anything like this, I hope you'll join us, same time, same place. Otherwise, thank you for joining Chasing the Delta, and I will see you next time.